Let me restart. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Right. Let me send the link out then. Recorder's going. Wait for Twitter. Okay, link out. Anybody in the chat room? I've not checked. Oh, yes, we have. We've got Richie's there. Good evening.
Hey, Rich.
It's just us, Rich. We're waiting for Jason to reboot. We've got to sign into the chat room. I haven't done that for a while. Let's see if I remember. There we go. Right. Let's see if we can get Jason back in a sec. I wonder which machine he's on. The Surface should be pretty quick to reboot. My Surface Pro 3 is really quick. We tested a very nice machine this week, the Lenovo ThinkPad 10.
Yeah, that's quite nice bit of kit, that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the most, I don't know, most advanced device. It's an Atom processor and everything, but 8 or 9 hours battery out of it, it's been really good.
Yeah, it's very practical, isn't it? It's very useful.
Yeah, Richard, there's a slight odd bit of feedback from somewhere. It sounds like a scratch on a vinyl record. I've heard that. I can hear that. I think it's coming from Gary's audio. Have you got that mic on again?
No, I've just not plugged in.
Aha!
Ah, but there we got Jason.
Aha! I tried to restart. It got to the logging off screen, then blue screened on me.
Which device was that?
My Surface Pro 3, which definitely isn't running any beta software. Maybe not.
Oh, there you go. I tell you, well, let's start the show. I'll tell you later. Jason, good evening. Gary,
good evening. I'm
evening.
Here. I'm here after blue screening.
Yeah, you're blue screening. Yeah, and Richard's in the chat room. He said he can hear a bit of scratchy sounds coming from somewhere, but I can hear that as well. But hopefully I can clean that up in the edit. It's not too bad when we're all talking anyway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Does it go away if I go away if I?
Yes.
Okay, so it's me. Different headset today. Let's see if I can play around with it a bit.
Yeah, mine was. I couldn't hear anything when I undocked my Surface. I could hear through the Surface speakers, and obviously you could hear me through the mic. But as soon as I docked it again, the headset I use is plugged into the dock, and it just no sound at all. So I tried to restart, and that's when I got the blue screen.
Well, Richard says, presumably Jason has fallen back to the family iPad.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Well, I had. I mean, I've running Surface Pro 3 with Redstone builds. I had where Edge wouldn't open, and it would open if you clicked on it. It would open for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then just close again. And tried all sorts of things, and it just nothing would bring it back. And actually, be surprised about how much stuff is dependent on Edge as well. Cortana wouldn't work, Mail wouldn't work. It was a bit of a mess, really. But I thought, well, yeah. I'll Google it, how to fix it. I can't go into Edge. So, but luckily, I got into Explorer, and I found that the solution was to delete like a temporary file and do an Apex reset, which solved it perfectly. Because you can't reset Edge through the apps list like you can all the other apps.
Yeah, because Edge is a funny one, isn't it? Because it's a mixture of core operating system files and UWP app, isn't it? But
yeah, that's right.
One thing I've just noticed is my my Cortana interests have gone.
Yes, mine went today.
Aha, so it's not just me then.
No, they've been hit and miss since all weekend, really.
Yeah, got it. One thing I have noticed, and I appreciate I'm running a Redstone preview build as well, but I've having an awful lot of Internet Explorer page restarts. So I've been using it quite a lot on my Office 365 account, and quite often it's this page isn't responding, and which is the kind of thing Internet Explorer probably isn't changing very much, but I guess it's the underlying operating system. I noticed your sites also stop responding on me. Although I did notice I've just on your site in, and I've noticed very timely it's offering me a Spotify advert.
Yes, we took Spotify tonight. We've no new bills, but we'll talk about that. We've got Dropbox app with an update that's quite nice. Some new band stuff, moving TV updated, and we had a slow ring release as well. So plenty of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I can tell you how I fixed Groove.
Definitely.
Yeah, fixing Groove. But and Richard says he's got Redstone working on his Link 7, no problems yet. Well, overall, all my stuff's working okay. I've noticed Cortana's not. I can't even click into Cortana on my Surface.
And of course, Richard's install of his Redstone on his Link 7 is now a legal install because it's now supported under the hardware requirements.
Yeah, they changed some of the requirements, haven't they? The hardware requirements.
Yeah, let's probably talk about that as well.
Yeah. So before we go into the news, then Gary reminded us as a feature that we have almost every year now of how much money has been raised for our Kickstarter competition campaign. So Gary, tell us what you mean.
Okay, so Pebble launched the Pebble 2 and Time 2 and an interesting gadget called the Pebble Core, which we're going to talk a bit about in a minute. And they launched that this morning, and it's got 36 days to go, and they had $1 million goal, and they're now at 3,711,000 or 712,000.
So say that value again.
3,712,000, nearly 3,713,000 actually. By the time I finish speaking, it's going to be around there. They wanted $1 million.
Wow. I've just opened the Kickstarter page, which is the Pebble 2 plus all new Pebble Core, and 3,713,877 with 36 days ago.
714,000.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, but I have to say the Pebble Core is actually quite an interesting project. I mean, the new two Pebbles. The Pebble 2 is like the old design Pebble, the original Pebble 1, but with a nicer new screen on it, and it's monochrome, and it's got heart rate meter monitor and fitness stuff. And they've gone down a fitness road. The Pebble Time 2 is basically what the Pebble Time should have been. It's a color screen device, but virtually taking up the whole of the screen with minimal bezel. The one thing people complain about on the Pebble Time 2 is everything I want in a Pebble watch, to be fair, and that's really good. But what's really interesting is the Pebble Core, because the Pebble Core is basically a similar size to the watch, but it's actually a 3G ultra wearable, and the idea is it's actually an Android 5 device. It's got lots of stuff built into it. You can track your runs. It's got GPS built into it. You can send emergency SMS, but it's got a couple of buttons on it, but it is going to be on 3G. It's also going to be able to go on Wi-Fi. And talking about Spotify, it allows Spotify streaming as well.
Right, so you could use it with headphones and
exactly. But it's an interesting device because it's also going to be very hackable, and you can actually use it for a lot of stuff. Because 2 buttons on it, and they sort of say you could use one button to call an Uber or button to open your garage door. And I can see lots of home automation-y type things because you'll be able to do location tracking with it. From it, it'll actually be able to send you a message to say where it is. I mean, it's only got an 8 or 9 hour battery life, but for the sort of thing it's designed for, I think that could work quite well. So it's an interesting concept.
And the number of backers has gone up to 20,178 as we speak.
Yeah, 3,725,000. I wonder what it's going to be. Should we take bets on what it's going to be by the end of this recording?
Yeah, we'll come back to that at the end of the show and see what there's. But actually, the Pebble 2, is it the Pebble 2, the one with the colour screen then?
Pebble Time 2 is the one.
Time 2. That's the one that looks really nice, though.
Yeah, it's got really good style. It's actually quite Apple Watch like, isn't it? If you look at it, but it's basically the Pebble Time. It looks very like the Pebble Time Steel. They don't seem to be having a Pebble Time Steel this time, or a Pebble Time, plasticky Pebble Time. So they've got the plasticky, which is the Pebble one, sort of sports watch, but that's only monochrome. And then they've got the Pebble Time, which is steel outside and color, nice color, very large color screen on it. Looks a better resolution as well, so that's. I think I haven't got all full facts on it yet, but I'm certainly looking at it. It looks
if you just want a Pebble Time 2, you've missed the boat because it's the whole 10,000 backers have gone off that one.
Okay, that's true, but I probably want Pebble
Core with the
Pebble core, because that's that core, because the combination of that Pebble core and the watch means you don't need to take a phone with you.
Interesting, yeah.
So I could certainly see that for a lot of possibilities, especially in a fitness type thing, riding your bike or running. You don't really want to necessarily carry the bulk of the phone with you, so that'd be quite cool.
Well, we'll come back to that at the end of the show and see what that's running.
Yeah.
If only it was it was total coming in for advertising for this podcast, we'd be laughing.
Yeah, sales of the book.
Yeah, that's right. It was just like that on the day of the book launch day. Wasn't it? We were sat looking at the totals.
Yeah.
Just talking of sort of campaign Kickstarter, just something that Richard and Jason, you've mentioned in the chat room, the next doc, that's been funded, hasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, which is good to see.
Yeah, Richard's hoping to receive his soon. So,
and that's the Continuum doc, isn't it?
Sort of.
Yeah, it uses it's got HDMI, isn't it, rather than being the USB-C.
Yeah.
If I remember right, it was about the fact they're obviously using a company to build it, and so they're using a kind of generic laptop tooling to make that device. In order to make them with USB-C, etc., then they'd have had to kind of had a custom build, which is obviously more expensive when you're kind of basically renting manufacturing lines.
But also it means you can use it with other things, then, couldn't you? You could use it with a Lynx 7 as
Yes.
without requiring to use Miracast or whatever. And I think Miracast works quite well. Nothing beats a proper solid HDMI connection.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously that will also work with Android as well. So,
yeah, that'll be interesting. So Richard will you can come and join us on the show when you get that and tell us what that's like.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear about that, because I think, there's lots of talk about whether or not the Lumia 950 and 950 XL, and obviously there are other Continuum devices out there from Acer, I think, and obviously the HP one coming, but whether or not those have kind of really jumped ahead from the 930, but Continuum is the one feature that makes them stand out. So if that works really well, then I think it does make that a standout feature.
Yeah, we'll return to that and have a look at that.
Yes.
So we have got some build news, but we'll come to that later. So Jason, you mentioned Spotify, and Gary, you mentioned Groove. So first of all, Jason, you've gone from Groove, and we'll discuss that. Gary, you broke Groove, is that right?
Well, I didn't totally break Groove.
Right.
So shall I kick off with that one, because it's fairly short and sweet story. So I've been putting a playlist together for an upcoming event, and I wanted to put it onto the Lynx 8. And I thought, fine, if I've got Groove on there, I'll just log into Groove. I'll get my links, get the playlist, and because I'm not getting the Wi-Fi, I want to download it. So I hit the download button, and it said Groove services are not available at this time. Hang on a second, I want to do is download, and I know Groove's available because it wouldn't be able to sync it anyway because it's on Groove. So I looked into this, and eventually I worked out what the problem was, and it gets a lot of people, this one. So because it's a really stupid error message, because it's nothing to do with the Groove services. What it's to do with is where your music's being stored.
Right, where it's the destination.
Yeah. So if you've got, it asks you where to look for music.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you ask to look for music on something other than your own device as well, maybe as well as your own device. But I happen to be looking for music on my Media Center PC from my Lynx 7. So that's that Lynx 8. So that's actually one of the things I've got listed in there. And because I had that there, it was trying to pick that to send the music to when I wanted to download.
Right.
So I basically had to delete out all the things there, put a local store in first, make sure it's the first thing on the list, and then I can put the other ones back. But it has to have a local store first on the list, otherwise it won't work properly on downloads.
That sounds like a good tip to write up.
Yeah, I'm going to, but it's definitely I definitely got you that one, because the message doesn't make any sense.
That's very unlike Windows 10 to have cryptic error messages.
It's unlike Microsoft encrypted.
Yeah,
I mean, at least it's got words.
I suppose it's better than 0x800124172. Yeah.
True, yeah. But it'd be better if the words actually meant something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, that's a good tip. Yeah, I would write that one up, because I think that could be very handy.
Yeah.
Now, Jason, you said you've gone from Groove.
Yeah, not quite yet. We've into a 1 month. I kind of been doing a rolling month subscription, but yeah, I think as I've kind of mentioned before, our kids are starting to grow up, and they've got their own devices, and they are starting to kind of want to listen to their own music. And while what I've done is albums that I kind of consider kind of shared music, like now albums and some artists that they like, I've kind of uploaded them into their OneDrive so they can listen to it through Groove. There's no real way for me to share my music subscription. So yes, they can play it on the Xbox, or you can play it through the Sonos, but they kind of get all basically my kind of music history, my music tastes, and me and my wife's music as well. And then obviously this week, so Spotify is quite price competitive with Groove. I think Groove's $8.99 a month, whereas Spotify is $9.99 a month. And it used to be an extra £5 for each family member, but this week they announced that now the Spotify family pack is actually a fixed £15 a month for up to 6 family members, and that's not a shared account. That's each person has their own unique account, kind of linked to a family member. So everybody gets their own music taste. They can create their own playlists. So me listening to old heavy metal albums isn't going to suddenly come up in recommendations for my kids. And so I'd been kind of having an R in, and me and my wife had talked about where maybe we could get just an extra Groove subscription that the kids use and maybe share between their devices, because I think I'm right in saying in Windows 10 Mobile you can sign into a different account.
Yes, and
your device account is, but even then you're looking at kind of £18 a month. So for us, for £15 a month, to be able to have different accounts set up on the Sonos, because one of the things that Sonos does support is adding the same service more than once. And the kids also having Spotify. I mean, my son's got an iPad. There is a Spotify app for Windows Phone 8.1 and Windows 10 Mobile. It also means my wife can also have Spotify on her phone. And I think really it's just, as much as I love Groove, and I still absolutely love it. This is the thing that kind of wrenches me leaving the service, is the Xbox integration, where it plays music videos if they're available. Is we quite often put it on in the lounge and let music videos play, because we don't have Sky or MTV or anything, so it's the only way the kids really get to watch music videos. So that's one big loss. But I mean, if I'm honest, overall it's probably a small percentage of our real overall use. So yeah, I think for purely just price, it's unfortunately we're going to have to move away from Groove. And I'm not sure if Microsoft maybe internal have discussions about whether or not they'll offer a family pack. I sometimes feel that Microsoft offer a music service because they feel they ought to, and in some ways maybe is not the £9 a month subscription kind of intended to be slightly prohibitive, because the less people using it, the less they need to maintain it. I don't know. That's probably a bit hard on them, but yeah, I mean, basically £15 a month. I just can't. I can't. I've got no argument against it in the household, really.
Yeah, I know people in Microsoft are aware of the need to have a family subscription of some sort. I mean, obviously it's negotiations and contracts and stuff like that, and whether they ever will produce one, I don't know, but they need to produce one. If they are going to compete, they definitely need to have a family.
I think, if there was one, I would probably get that for the family.
Yeah. I think also that there's a bigger discussion, really, because if they want Xbox to be a successful brand, which I think it is, obviously kids want Xbox Live as well, and I'm not saying that every family should have to provide music subscriptions for their kids, but it is a consideration. If you're already paying for an Xbox Live subscription, why not have that as an add-on rather than so Xbox Live isn't expensive. I think it's if you buy it through Amazon, it's probably £30 a month, a year. But it certainly shouldn't be an extra £80 on top of that for Groove. Why not have it as an add-on, a bit like Amazon Prime? You get that, and you get Prime Instant Video. You get Prime Music. So there's some really strong competition out there.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think if it wasn't for that time, which I like the Groove app on Windows 10, I think I'd probably look at it anyway. But if they did offer the family a family pack at the same price, I probably would do that as well. So they would get some extra revenue out of me if they did that.
Yeah, and it's also So for me, it's going to be a slightly disjointed experience now, because I will keep my personal music collection in OneDrive, which I'll play through Groove. But what I'll probably find is that it's like, if I start to become a regular Spotify user, that I'll probably just add those albums to a playlist.
Yeah, because even I've done that, where I know I've got the album and I just haven't put it in, uploaded it yet, or for some reason it's not there. I just add it through Groove, and that's doing the same thing. Yeah, and I think if I was on Spotify, I would probably just go through the albums already gotten and just add those. I mean, the other thing about Groove as well is that unlike most Microsoft products, which tend to be better on iOS and Android, Groove is better on Windows than it is on the other platforms. So
yes.
I was playing with my Nexus, and the Groove app works, but it's like the old version of Groove. It's like an old version of it compared to how much progress they've made. So with the Windows version, so you get a better experience.
Yeah, and also the only version available on the iTunes store is designed for the iPod.
Yeah.
It's not even designed for the iPad. So yeah, for us, it's I can't build a good case for us keeping Groove as a service for the family.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, I think I would look at that. I mean, it's I'd say actually Groove itself is I've got mine set up so well on the phone. It's the one thing that really makes Windows 10 Mobile worth staying with, because it's so good, the Groove app, compared to the Groove app on other platforms. So I think if you went to another platform, I'd probably end up dropping the music service as well, and that's that snowball effect of just getting less dependent on Microsoft services then, which is why they need to have all these services available.
Yeah, the one thing I did notice was how I went into my Microsoft account and switched off the renewal on Groove, and something that I hadn't noticed before, because I've kind of cancelled the auto renewal before when switching between the annual or maybe a month and the monthly plan. But this time when I went to cancel the renewal, the automatic renewal, it actually offered two choices: either to cancel at the end of the subscription, which for us is the 1st of June, or it offered me a refund for the time remaining.
Right.
So I think they clearly, because you would think that they'd taken the money, they'd want your option would be, we'll just cancel it when your subscription expires. But clearly, there is enough people cancelling and asking for a refund for them to warrant automating that process.
Yeah, it's a shame that you've basically they've all got the same catalog more or less now anyway, haven't they? So that's not really an issue. It's the price and the app, the front ends and the apps that make the decision, but the price, I suppose, in your case, is convenience is what's come down to it.
Yeah, because I mean, what I had looked at doing was maybe just getting a Groove subscription for me, and maybe Spotify that was kind of shared through the apps, because at the moment it's kind of unlikely that everyone in the family would want to be streaming at the same time. But when you look at $9.99 a month, and then $8.99 a month, and then £15 for 6 people, or up to 6 people, it's just like I say, it's just, you can't win that argument.
Yeah, you're right. I really hope that Microsoft are looking at this, and like Gary said, they are aware of it and actually managed to get something out, because they would get the extra spend from me.
Yes. Yeah.
I know quite a few people who would spend more money would spend that, but it's also just being feature compatible. I mean, the reason Spotify introduced this is because Apple Music introduced something very similar. If you're going to be competitive, you've got to compete, and I love the Groove service. I mean, despite my little issue, because when it works exceptionally well, and it's such a shame it doesn't compete at the moment.
Yeah, because there isn't a Windows 10 app at the moment for the desktop. I know you use the website, but so for me, I'm losing something.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's a bit of a no-brainer. The other interesting thing is, of course, that as was announced, I think it was today, Spotify is still losing money. They've got their number of subscribers is huge and growing, and their revenue's growing, but they're still making a loss. So it does make me a bit nervous that I would imagine someone will buy them and come on Microsoft, just buy Spotify. Put me out of my misery.
Yeah, interesting. That would be interesting to move what they do with that. If someone will do that, because Google's got their own service as well. Amazon's got their own service. There's plenty of competition out there.
Yes, yeah.
And talking of services, then, did you see that an interesting thing that Microsoft are testing out at the moment? If you've got an Android phone, you can now get Android notifications on your PC.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been testing with my old Nexus, which switches itself off all the time now, so it's not brilliant. But if you leave it plugged in, it's okay. But so first of all, it's not available in the UK, which is really stupid. I don't know why Microsoft do this, but you can't get Cortana in the UK on Android or iOS. But as you know, you can sideload apps on Android, and within 10 minutes of Microsoft releasing the version for Android, it's available as a download. So I got the APK file, put it on my Nexus 5, and you can go into the app, into Cortana then, and say which applications are allowed to push notifications through. So you can go and flick through them all, or you can just choose what you want. And then on your Redstone build Windows 10 device, the notifications get pushed through just as a normal push notification. And it actually works really well. So I selected everything just to test it. So an app's just been updated. In fact, Google Play Store has just been updated, and it's come up on my Surface that's been updated because of that push notification. And it's very clever in terms of it knows which active device you're on. So I'm seeing those notifications coming up on my Surface Pro 3 here while I'm using it. And if I have one of my other tablets running Redstone lying around, they wouldn't be pushed through to there straight away with the notification sound. It just comes through on the Surface Pro 3, which is pretty good. But even better than that, some notifications, like the Gmail ones, you can actually reply to. So, you know, in Redstone builds, you've got actionable notifications. So, like, if you get a Twitter message, you can reply to that. Well, in this, I can actually reply to an email from my Surface Pro 3, and it goes via the Nexus.
That is very clever.
And at first I didn't think, I thought, yeah, right, of course that'll work. No, that's not going to work. So I sent myself an email. It went through to the phone. The notification came up in Action Center with a reply option. So I replied, and sure enough, it did. The reply went back through. So, and it seemed to work with other things as well. It's whatever has got an actionable notification on Android seems to have actual notification in Windows. Yeah, works very well. Outlook notifications, Twitter, Facebook, all there in Windows 10.
Cool.
Yeah, and but the crazy thing is, I would really like that on Windows 10 mobile, and we haven't got it, have we?
No, no. Although I did see, I think Richard Hay put a link to the new Windows or Microsoft Authenticator app, where you can do like you can with the Android, where you get the Microsoft second form authentication. Yes. But I couldn't install that on my Threshold 2. Sorry, Threshold 2 device.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that link, and I installed it, but it would only install on my 1520, which is running Redstone, and it stopped the other version working. You know, the one on my real phone.
Oh, right.
So you can't do both. You've got to do one or the other. But then I cancelled the one on the 1520, and it went back to using the other one without having to reset it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually works. It works really well, that, but it's just like for internal testing only. So, but I guess it'll be part of the Redstone release. But it does work much better than the current one, where you've got to type that code in.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's something that I would really like, because I've turned on two-factor authentication on my Office 365 account, and I'm not saying it would work with this, but even though there's the option when I sign in to remember my authentication for 60 days, it never works. No. Every time I sign in, it sends me yet another text message, which, you know, when you just want to do something really quickly, it can be. And I think you know, two-form authentication is really important. I think it's a big step forward in security, so I don't want to switch it off, but at the same time, it shouldn't, you know, if it becomes that intrusive, you are tempted to go, oh, I can live without this. And when it comes to security, that's not the way to think.
Yeah, I found the other app worked quite well, but it won't work for until I put Redstone. And Jason, now talking of Redstone on mobile, Nick, last week you were telling us how you've made the leap. You've jumped ahead of me. You've put Redstone on your 930. It was running a bit hot, but you could live with it. You're a man. You can put up with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I thought.
So how's that going then?
Not too well. I think after. So I waited it out, and then they released the .1003 build. I think it was on the Wednesday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so I thought that is it. And then I got a confirmation from Brandon LeBlanc on Twitter, who's now kind of works alongside Gabe Ole, that fix wasn't included in that build. And after a day of just fighting like crazy to try and keep my phone even just holding a charge, because I had to literally charge it on mains in order to get a positive charge. And wireless charging, USB charging was just using more power than was actually getting put into the thing. And it was just running so hot. I actually got to the point where I was quite concerned about it actually damaging the device. So I decided to take the plunge and roll back. And so used the device recovery tool, which took me back to Windows Phone 8.1.
Oh, nice.
Which is, we say this all the time, don't we? It's that you like, and sometimes you get a new operating system or an updated operating system and you get used to it and you don't realize that you're compromising. But I think sometimes it's nice to go back to Windows Phone 8.1 and think, actually, I really miss
you're glad
Windows
you're on
10. So I very quickly got back onto Windows 10 Mobile, and then opted back into the release preview ring. And actually this time chose, which I've never done before. I've never had the courage to do it, but I chose not to do a restore. So I literally had to set the phone up from scratch, and I'm actually really pleased I did that, because it's definitely made a difference. I've still got the Bluetooth issues, but I think that's down to my complicated setup. So before I reset the device, I took some screen grabs of my start screen because I'm a bit OCD about that. So I've got everything set back up the way I wanted.
My son does that when we painted his bedroom. He took a picture of his shelf.
Yeah.
Do I need to be worried now? Turn out like Jason.
So, but the other thing is, because when you do a restore, it downloads all your apps, and I've got games on there from
Yeah, I didn't like that.
They're games that I like, but they're games that I just never go back to. So I've kind of downloaded a few. I've put Minecraft on there and a couple of the Angry Birds games, but mostly it's quite a clean install. So yeah, it's working quite well. But literally, I could have fried an egg on it. It was that hot.
Yeah.
But so, which raises a topic for me. So, in no way am I going to sit here and criticize Microsoft for releasing a buggy OS. That's what we sign up for. Little bit frustrating when there's issues beyond what's reported as known issues, but at the end of the day, I put a fast ring build onto my only device and paid the penalty of not even waiting 48 hours to see how other people found it. But I think we've discussed it before, Microsoft haven't pulled that build, and it's now not everybody's experiencing this, but when there's such a massively critical bug, now I know Josh Parlow has got this. A few other people on Twitter.
Everyone's got this, to be honest, because looking at that, I think I sent you the link to the thread, didn't I, on Microsoft Answers, and it seems to be anybody that's got it. Now, I've not got it, but I've no SIM card in my 1520, and it seems to be mobile data that's the problem, because someone in the thread said if you turn mobile data off, it cools down immediately.
Yeah, which actually I didn't try, but it's my only phone, so being without a phone is
pointless.
Although I was running pretty close to the mark, I have to admit. But yeah, I sometimes think if there's really a big, is rechargeable batteries, the last thing they need to do is get hot. It shortens their lifespan. It runs the risk of them catching fire. So I'm just curious that they didn't decide to take that build down. It's still there, I'm sure.
And it's on the slow ring, isn't it?
No, only for desktop.
Only for desktop slow ring, right?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought it was an interesting topic. So like I said, I'm not going to criticize them for a buggy build. That's what we sign up for. But I just do wonder whether or not they should have a criteria for pulling a build out.
Should they be doing a voluntary recall?
Well, if it was a product, they would, wouldn't they? If it was a thing, as opposed to an OS. Yeah, I think you're right. And I agree that you can't criticize Microsoft because that's what you sign up for.
Mm.
However, this is obviously now a known issue, and it would probably be a good idea to at least put it in the blog post to say that we've seen numerous reports of short battery life and hot running. So if you want to avoid this issue, switch to the slow ring now.
Yeah, because actually, I'm just going to look see if they've even updated the post actually.
In fact, I think I've even got it open because I somehow doubt they did. That's the mobile, which
Yeah, I'm just looking.
oh yeah,
No
slow ring.
issues.
Did they do a separate post for mobile?
Yeah, I've got the one. And all it mentions is there's an update about the fact it might get stuck on the Windows logo.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh, but I did have a chuckle when you started, and it was talking about last week's podcast on Entertainment 2.0 that he'd got the Windows logo and it was stuck on it. And I was kind of, sometimes you talk to yourself in the car while I was going, Josh, it's a known issue. Sorry, Josh, I did have a bit of a chuckle at your expense.
Read the release notes, Josh.
Yeah, I did like it as well when Josh said, I'm sure it wasn't there when I read them the first time, but
they put them in there especially for him.
Yeah, but no, it's
there's
not
no
about the
mention
dual
of it.
SIM, but no. So I don't know. I just think it's maybe the lesson they could learn that if there really is an unexpected known issue, that they should really be at least openly talking about it.
And
I love the idea of an unexpected known issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the typical SQL database. But and this is there's a bit of a surprise to us because we've really not had a bad build for some time, probably since that one time where I had almost the same issue with it overheating, and I went back to the Threshold 2 build on my 950 for the same reason, because it was getting too hot and battery drain or whatever. But the last few builds have been absolutely fine. So the more build you install, the more blasé you get talking about it.
Yes.
But I think this was this the first one you've the first build you've taken on your 930 of Redstone?
Yeah, because
you were waiting, weren't you?
Yeah, because it's my only phone, I was kind of determined I wasn't going to put preview builds on it, but or insider builds rather. But yeah, I said I was waiting for the tweeting bug to be fixed, and this was called out as being fixed on this build.
Forgot to mention the fact you couldn't use it for 2 hours a day.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So and also, we were talking last week, weren't we, about the fact that we are getting close to July, which we haven't got a release date, but we suspect sometime in July. So you could tell from the known issues that the bugs were getting, the issues were getting smaller and smaller. So I decided it was time to experiment, and I really wanted to try the messaging everywhere, which works really well for 2 hours. The phone goes off.
Just carry a big battery.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say, in my short 48 hours, 72 hours I had with the build, I'm really impressed with where they're going.
Yes, it's just the UI particularly is nice, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it's
action centering. So
to the point where I really feel, going back to the kind of standard Threshold 2 build, there's some really nice things in there, some really nice features and some additions and some polish. So yeah, I'm already kind of missing it, but I think next time I think I'll maybe go into the slow ring.
You'll wait to see until I install it, and then you.
Yes, yeah. I'll either go on slow ring or I'll wait 24, 48 hours and see what other people's experience is like.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's hard to judge it, isn't it? Because you kind of want to get that new feature set quite quickly. So if you go on the slow ring, you've got to wait. But then if there's any builds come out, you're bitten already, aren't you, really, more or less straight away, because you've only got sort of, it checks for updates almost every 24 hours anyway, doesn't it? So even if you don't do anything, it will have downloaded that at some point, and once it's downloaded, you've got to install it at some point.
Yeah, it was, I think Gabe said on a number of occasions, even before it's downloaded, if your phone has detected it, there is no way back at that point. You either have to wipe the device with the reset tool, or take it. Yeah,
and I suppose it's even for my 950, it's not too bad because the recovery tool takes you back to Threshold 2.
Yes.
Whereas if you've got an older device, it takes you back to 8.1, doesn't it?
Yeah, which again, Gabe's kind of said that the reason why they're doing that is so that people that do try Windows 10 Mobile and decide that it's not right for them or doesn't quite run as well on their device, that they can always go back to the original operating system.
Yeah.
But I think was it Derek Larkin, I think that I was chatting to on Twitter when this was all going on. I think he was saying it would be quite nice to have a choice in the reset tool, which sorry, it was Simon, wasn't it? Simon Darkside. I think he's right, really. I would have thought they'd be able to incorporate in the tool, which version of Windows do you want to download.
Yeah. And we had a KB, didn't we, for the PC build last week, but no actual new build.
Yes, yeah, and that's when it got elevated to the slow ring on the desktop.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was I think there was quite a few little tweaks and fixes in there. I'm trying to remember if I don't think there was an associated blog post, was there, as such?
No, it was to do with Microsoft Edge, wasn't it? Particularly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see that that one's gone to the slow ring, because they only do that when they've got confidence in the build. And I have to say, it has been, apart from the blue screen before we started recording, it has been working really well.
And I wondered, wanted to ask you, why, if they've released why release a KB for a build? At the time, I thought this. Why bother releasing a KB when the next build will include that anyway? So, why go to the trouble of releasing a KB and patching a build? And sometimes we've had 2 days between builds, so why bother? But I don't know whether there's something significant about this build, that they patched it, and now when was the original build released? It's a couple of weeks now, isn't it? 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So this is the longest gap we've had between a complete new build for some time. Could it be that this is what the build that they've settled on as being the final version, and it's feature complete, and so we're just going to get incremental fixes to this build now?
Yeah,
it's a bit early, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not unprecedented. I mean, with the original release and the Threshold 2 release, they did release KB updates before putting it in the slow ring. So
true, yeah,
to fix minor issues that meant it wasn't maybe quite suitable for slow ring, but just to kind of patch the issues that had been reported. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I think it's not unprecedented, and I think it's too soon. I think Gabe's already tweeted today that there's some more builds coming down, some more flights coming down the ring. So I think we might see something this week. Yeah. I think they definitely need to get a mobile build out, and so far the mobile and desktop builds have pretty much been in lockstep. So
yeah,
I think hopefully we might see the same build. I'll tell you what was really odd was that because this build came out for, and I think we talked about this last week, didn't we? This build came out for desktop a week ago, and it was released early, kind of escaped early. But then there was a massive long delay, and we thought we'd get a more up-to-date build for mobile. But in fact, they released the same build number, so there's definitely something odd going on there.
Yeah, I just wonder. Again, what will happen at some point is what happened with, was it 10.586, where we got 10.586.0.
Yeah,
and then I think by the time the phone was out, I think it was 10.8. It was .10, wasn't it, or something like that? So maybe at some point the builds will stop incrementing. But like you said, as we record on Tuesday evening, Gabriel said that they've got a build. They've got builds. They said, didn't they, in internal tested. So maybe we'll see one either Wednesday evening or Thursday evening. But it's been a bit of a while since we've had that last one.
It has, yeah, definitely has. And the other thing I hear people speculate about when we might see the final release, and but the one thing that always gives it away is when that watermark disappears.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, at some point that'll disappear, won't it?
Yeah,
very true.
But we don't have RTM anymore.
But don't call it RTM.
Yeah,
can't do that.
So the question we were talking last week then. So how many more builds? Perhaps I should write this down as well. I will. I'll write it down. I'll ask you again at the end of the show to give you time. So I'll write down how many more builds do you think we'll have before we get the one without the watermark. So RTM, RTM that's not RTM, but the one that goes out to general users.
WTW.
Yes.
I wonder as well whether or not E3 will be when they start the Xbox Insider program, because we haven't had Redstone builds for Xbox One yet.
That's a good thought.
Yeah, definitely.
It would make perfect sense as well, wouldn't it? They were going to announce some stuff there. Talk about things they have announced, because we were talking about this earlier, the whole WinHex stuff going on, and the new hardware requirements for
Oh yes,
the Redstone build. So it's going to get confusing, this, because they basically said that for mobile builds you can now go up to, is it 9 inches?
Yeah.
And for desktop builds you can go down to 7 inches.
Yeah.
So back to how we were before, to be honest, on desktop builds, because we always used to be able to get into 7. So that Link 7 is now allowed to run Windows 10. But the mobile side is quite interesting. Having a 9-inch mobile device would be probably about the size it would like as a phone, actually.
Yes, that would be fine with me. I'll go for that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that definitely interests me, because I really would like a Windows 10 mobile, appliance type tablet.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with that. Windows 10 on mobile is obviously going through a lot of changes and with the new releases, and despite people calling it dead, it's had more new builds than Android or iOS in that. There's almost as many new builds of Windows 10 as people have been saying it's dead. So, but it is in that state of flux, isn't it? With it's not really the primary focus, and so yeah, maybe we will see something. Maybe there's something coming up next week. Is there? Is it WinHeck next week?
Yes, I think
it's WinHeck. Yeah, so this is the pre-announcement for WinHeck. So I think they're going to talk about devices, aren't they? I think Tim Harrison's doing the presentation, which he normally talks devices, and I think HoloLens will be on there.
Yeah.
What's the chance of getting a consumer HoloLens release date at E3? Do you think?
Unlikely.
No, I think so. Yeah.
I think it's very much business focused at the moment. My understanding is they couldn't meet the demand already. So if you can't meet the demand, are you going to release it to another market?
Yeah. So that a longer gestation period for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe we'll see some new devices at WinHeck then. A 7-inch Windows tablet running Windows 10 mobile. A 9-inch you could have, couldn't you now?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed an odd thing that they would announce a change up to 9-inch unless someone has asked them about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so hopefully maybe Jason will get his wish.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. I was using my own Core 8 in a meeting today, and I did think, I wish I had a pen. I wish I had a pen with it.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I was using the Lynx 8 earlier, and I've updated the Lynx 8 to the threshold build now, which I have to say is really cool on an 8-inch screen. I didn't realise how much the improvements made a difference. It's starting to become much more like a Win 8.
Oh, you mean running the Redstone build?
Yeah, Redstone.
Yeah.
So threshold, Redstone. Yeah, Redstone build. So yeah, so that's made a huge difference at the. Just being able to quickly tap between the
I like it.
Yeah, but it's becoming a familiar experience now.
Yeah, I think like Jason was saying earlier, once you start using these new builds, you can tell how good progress they've made, because you don't want to go back. And I've got this Dell that I'm using to the recording on now, and that's got all the music recording software as well. So I want to keep that clean and not do a JSON. That's the new terminology.
Don't do a JSON.
Don't do a JSON on it. And so I haven't put it on, but I do miss things. I do miss some of the features of Redstone. So yeah, I know what you mean. I think on the small tablets it does work well, but it would be nice to have a sort of really nice pen support on there.
It would, yeah. That would be really cool.
Like a small surface.
Yeah.
Like a mini surface.
Yeah, why not one of those? Maybe that'll be 9 inches.
Maybe that's where the hardware requirements have come through. It's from Microsoft. Yeah. Now, before we finish, I just noticed one other thing. Did you see that Dropbox updated their app and included a bit of media streaming in it?
Yes. Yeah. And again, I think this is all part of that stuff we were talking about last week of their Project Millennium or whatever it is, which is to basically update the Dropbox to a more modern client, and so hopefully they may even have placeholders soon.
Yeah, it actually works quite well. So
it does, yeah.
You don't have to download it. That was the nice thing. If your bandwidth supports it, Not if you live in Northamptonshire, but yeah, so I uploaded a video file to my Dropbox account, and then from a device that hasn't got the folder sync, just use the app, and the video file was there, and it has the DLNA Veracast target, and it works. It works quite well. So as long as you can get the file down in time, then yeah, it works good. So another a nice cloud feature, and something that I don't think you can currently do from OneDrive stored video, could you? I don't think you could. If you could, if it was synced locally, but not if it was in the cloud only. Have you played much with the OneDrive app that we talked about last week?
Not really. I did use it. I actually did use it to transfer some stuff to the Lynx 8.
It's quite handy for the small tablets.
It is, yeah, because I haven't got syncing set up on that, so it does do that job of effectively placeholders, because I'm only downloading stuff I want to download, but it's not placeholders, so yeah. We won't get into that.
No, we don't want to start upsetting the chat room.
No, we don't.
Oh, what? I missed what's Richard said. Uninstalled in disgust. I think he's talking about OneDrive there. Don't start Richard off again.
I'm not going to. But it has its uses, so but it could be a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. What else did I want to? Just to talk about small devices. I was telling Gary before we started. I've been playing with the ThinkPad 10 today. Lenovo ThinkPad 10, and that's a really nice little Windows tablet. And it's very well made. It's smaller than the Surface. It's more like an iPad size, but it's got that Lenovo sort of solid feel to it that Lenovo used when it was IBM had. And but I was getting 8 or 9 hours battery life off it, which I thought was really good for the little Atom processor. But and a little keyboard dock as well. Although it slots in. And then if you want to close it, you take it out and sort of slot it into the closed position. But it's actually quite a nice little device. So yeah, I've been having a look at that this week. I also had a look at the new Mozo flip cover for the Lumia 950 as well, which I posted the review now, which I really liked, and I was going to leave it on, except it's no good in the car, in the dock.
Yeah.
Because you've got to fold the lid back, and it doesn't clip in like many of these cases do. It has a sticky strip on the right hand side. So I probably can't illustrate this very well visual audioly, but you've got it in the dock and it's only stuck to the right hand side. So every time you stop, it falls out.
Yeah.
So no good in the car.
I have to say, I like my Mozo cover I had on the 950 with the Qi charging in, because it also had the other PMC charging as well, which I managed to find somewhere using in the States when I was over there. So that was quite cool to actually have both charging things and things. So that's
good. Reading Lenovo, Richard asked, is there a signature version of it? Well, the review unit actually came directly from Microsoft. It had nothing installed on it. It was, apart from the Get Office app, everything was beautifully clean and no crackware at all.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. In fact, you go to add remove programs, and there was 2 things in the list, and they were one was Get Office, and I can't remember. I think the other was a Lenovo driver.
Yeah.
So nothing at all. And probably that's why I'm getting 8 hours battery life from it. Whereas I've got to say the Aces that I reviewed last week were absolutely full of it. I know that's where they're getting the money from, but yeah, it's not a good end user experience. And like Rich said, signature editions are the way forward. Absolutely, and hopefully it'll become such an issue. I think hopefully it should be an issue enough that manufacturers can see that there's a market for it and will start doing that as a selling feature.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you can effectively pay more for having less spyware on your machine.
Yes,
because they get subsidised for putting it on there. So yeah, if people are prepared to pay more for it, I'm sure they will do that. Yeah,
and this one, like I said, came from Microsoft, so it was pristine, very very good experience. Although I couldn't get the pen to work. That's another story for another day.
The Surface Pro devices are nice, and they're a nice clean version as well.
True, very true.
Yeah, I mean that's what I love about the Surface Pro 3. You just get it lovely clean install.
Yeah.
So I think that's all. Unless you guys got anything else, I think that's about all we've got time for this week.
That is amazing timing, because just this moment, Pebble has clicked over to $4 million.
Whoa!
Wow.
That is incredible. Yeah, exactly. 4,001,000. Oh, 4.002 million now.
Yeah.
So now, on these Kickstarters, does the money come out of your account when you back it, or when it reaches its goal?
When it reaches its goal, well, actually, officially when it's reached its end of its time period, if
So
it's
in
reached its goal,
36 days. Yeah.
if it's 6 days time, they'll get that amount of money.
That's a great cash injection, isn't it, to actually go and develop your.
Oh yeah. I mean,
website.
that's the point, really, I guess. But to be fair, though, this is. I mean, I know a lot of people get on about this has been an abuse of Kickstarter and it's basically pre-ordering. Yeah, it is, and I'm happy to pre-order if I get a discount. I'm not sure the discount on this is a particularly brilliant discount, but yeah, if you're going to get your device for early, it's a way of doing it.
And is this was the previous? I think it was the previous Pebble one was the record, wasn't it? On
Yeah,
Kickstarter?
was. Yeah,
So this is now a new record.
Well, I don't know if it is yet. It's certainly going to be speed-wise. It may well be because that was very, very quick to get to goal.
Yeah.
It's just whether the final figure will be a record, but it's certainly going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I actually see online. I've seen a lot more enthusiasm for this particular Pebble design than the previous one. So I think this has everything that everybody was hoping for in the previous design. Coming forward.
And the cost, the question will be: will there be a Windows 10 mobile universal app?
No.
Close his web page now.
But you don't need a phone with this because you've got the core.
Yeah.
But you can talk to over Bluetooth LE. So there's all sorts of things.
Yeah. I think that's probably the next thing, isn't it? Where we've got the devices like the Band that require an app to do the push notifications and data transfer, but at some point these can be independent and just only use the Bluetooth LE for the data connection and not the actual app services, and they talk directly to the cloud.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And that's how this works with the core. Interesting. Well, talking to figures then. So I'm going to write this down now. So how many more builds until we get to not RTM but without the watermark?
3.
Oh, only 3.
Oh, that's low, Gary.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. So where are we?
I think
I'm gonna go 6.
Oh, I was just gonna say I think we've got 6 weeks off. Well, in that case, then I'm gonna go 7.
Yeah. So I'm going 6, but I suspect that'll be low because purely on. I think it was threshold 2. We had like 3 builds in 1 week, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think that might be 6. I'm going to up it to 9.
Oh, do we like that? Do we like that? Okay.
Yeah, well, that one then.
Okay. So, how many builds? Gary's gone for 3. Jason, you've gone for 9, and I've gone for 7.
That's desktop, by the way.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I'll let you off. So desktop builds. So what does that put our final build number?
Yeah,
we're on 1-4. What we're on 1-4.
4-3-4-2.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. What we're on 1-4.
It's definitely a tricky one.
1-5. 0-0. Oh.
I'm gonna go for 1-4-7-2-9.
1-4-7-2-9.
Ooh.
This is the geekiest ever game show. And we'll have them in binary, please.
Oh, I don't know. If I got 3 builds,
oh yeah, you've only got 3, haven't you?
1-4-500.
Oh, nice round number. We've not really had many round numbers, have we?
No, they keep aiming for them, but never quite get to them. But
yeah. Okay.
I just realised what I should have gone for. I'm not going to change it, but what I should have gone for was 1-4-7-8-9.
I might change mine. Right. Okay. Well, on that note, we shall disappear this week. So, Jason, where can we find you?
You can find me at Database Jace on Twitter, complaining about my hot 9:30.
Yep. You're hot. Your phone's hot and your bandwidth's not. Gary, where can we find you?
You can find me at Gary with 2 R's WMA on Twitter. Fascinating Tech, and you can also find me on Channel 9 this week because it's the recording of my presentation last week. From,
I
I
was in a meeting, but I put it on so I could see you talking, but not hear you.
Well, you can now hear me talking as well because you can catch up and watch the recording.
Send me the link to that then, and I'll include that.
I will do so. Yeah. So great fun, and my demo actually worked just about. So I did build my app within my 15 minutes or 20 minutes of time. So yeah, all good stuff.
Excellent stuff. So we'll be back next week. Thanks to Richard who's in the chat room. We'll be back next week, 9 p.m. UK time. You can join us on our YouTube channel, on all the other places. I Sticks on Twitter. So until then, see you next week.
Take care. See you. Bye bye.